Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, hello.
So hairdo's okay for now?
I never said that it was okay.
Yeah, you're right. So I had a beanie on this morning. It was actually, we woke up to 46-degree weather this morning.
Is that
here,
how cold
and
it was?
Yeah.
This Florida weather cannot make up its mind.
Yeah. Well, it was like Sunday night. You and I were out. We were walking Main Street. We got some gelato.
Oh, I forgot. It was like a windstorm.
And then all of a sudden the wind kicked up, temperature dropped like 10 degrees, like almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It was brutal.
How was the temperature at the house this morning though? Like
Everything's
regulated?
fine. Everything's off.
Okay. You turned it all off.
Everything's off. Yeah, because it was getting too steamy.
Oh, okay. 'Cause we
The
turned
heat in our
on.
house is like, again, you shouldn't have to use heat in Florida. Like, it's very rare that you have to do it. But I do feel like this winter, we've used it more than we've ever used it before.
Yeah.
And what's going on?
I'm just trying to get a good
You okay?
Yeah.
You all right? You comfortable?
trying to fit it,
Is my
trying to slide in there, knees touching.
my shoe in your way?
No, we're good.
I don't normally have wedges on, so my shoe's bigger than usual.
Okay. Is that what it is?
Don't know. But anyway, our heat has a really difficult time regulating in different rooms. But I feel like a lot of people experience that. Like my girlfriend is like, my master bedroom has no vent, or it doesn't feel like it does. And so she's like, it's freezing cold. The rest of the house will be like so hot and her bedroom's freezing.
Well, what's interesting is that this office has two ACs, and the majority of it is controlled by one unit. And then your office and this other front office are controlled by another unit. And we were all sitting in here, and it was like, I think we had put the heat on or whatever. And I walked in your office, and it was Arctic winter.
Really?
So we had literally two systems, one on cool, one on heat, just like battling it out. And it, like when you walk between
That's
the two
when you
rooms,
get a
you
big-
could like feel like the
vortex.
the vortex of heat and cold.
But that's when your bill is like astronomical.
And I'm not sure why I thought of this, but they have these new nerd gummies where it's like a
The
gummy
gummy
center.
ropes.
No, it's they're like round. So there's like nerds around the gummy.
It's like a gummy rope, but instead it's just
round
a ball.
gummy balls with hard shell nerds.
By
on
the way,
outside.
I hate things like nerds. My mouth
love
is like
nerds.
puckering up just thinking about it.
But just like doing that action, like for some reason, made me think of these falling nerds in the commercial.
It's a commercial.
And I haven't eaten lunch, and I've been eating pretzels this morning out of the snack jar, and I'm starving. I don't know why, but today I'm
well, you're gonna
starving.
have to wait until
Because
dinner
we're going to
time.
dinner tonight.
Yeah,
We're going on a date night, and I'm excited.
Date
And so, like,
night.
I literally was like, KFC's around the corner. I'm going to go ahead and give me a KFC
no,
bowl.
you didn't.
No, I didn't. Because
There's a
I'm
KFC around the corner.
Oh, yeah. It's like my hidden pleasure.
No.
Oh, yeah. There's like none in Sarasota except right next to our office.
Wow. And you've been going?
I go probably once a month. Seriously.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
No,
Good
no
to
one's
know.
seen. First of
Well,
all,
I
no
went-
one's seen me because I eat. Me and Maria, we're car lunch eaters.
Yeah, no. Other people like get shit delivered to the office or like bring it into the office.
We had one team member who would get like DoorDash like every other day.
Yeah.
And I was literally like, who can afford that? Like,
Yeah.
who can afford that? They also live with their parents. So, that helps. So, what?
Well,
I'm not saying the age of the person.
I today went to Project Coffee, who was the creator of the best Valentine's Day donuts in the entire world.
Well, didn't we talk about the donut?
We did.
Yeah.
And so I went in because I was like, okay, how often do they do these donuts? Like, when is it coming
Yeah,
back?
I need to know.
And because they do baked goods every day, just not donuts.
Right.
So I came in yesterday, okay, and I was like, hey, I just wanted you to know. First, because I'm a psycho, I tried calling. And the Google.
You wanted to be anonymous.
The Google subscribe.
Anonymous psycho?
Yeah. And then they were like, the Google subscriber has not had this inbox set up yet. And I was like, so I was walking by. So I walked in. And the girl, and by the way, not only was I not getting anything, there was a line, and I was with Abigail because we were going on our walk, and I waited in line to ask about the donuts.
Oh my gosh.
So.
And you still didn't buy anything.
No, so I looked at her, and the first thing I said was, I'm not buying anything today. And I was like, but I need to know. when the donuts are returning. And she was like, oh, they're once a year, the Valentine's Day donuts. And I was like, really? I was like, they are the best donut I've ever had in my life. And she was like, oh, she was like, that's so nice. And she was like, we do donuts every single month, like one weekend a month. And we post it on our Instagram. And I was like, oh, I follow you. I'll be looking. She said, but the Valentine's Day donuts are the best donuts we do. And I was like, well, I don't know who your baker is, but you need to let them know that is the best donut I've ever had in my life. And she looked right at me and she was like, I actually made the donuts. And I wanted to be like, bitch.
Did you give her a hug?
Make some more.
No, seriously, you should have given her a hug.
First of all, when I tell you this is like the sweetest, prettiest like girl, you're just like, you are the magical human being that would have made those delicious donuts. So she was so sweet. And she must be like, she's got to be the owner. Or like,
yeah, I think
like
I know who
part
you're talking
owner.
about
I think it's like a young couple.
I think it's a couple, like a husband and wife.
Yeah, but and they do amazing things. So anyway,
first of all, anyone who can make a donut, I mean, seriously,
like make it homemade,
like make a donut.
And this was no frilly donut. This was filled.
You can't even make a biscuit out of a can.
Me? Are you talking about me?
You know that baking, you are self-proclaimed. You're like, I am not a baker.
Hold on. I'm not a baker. It doesn't mean I can't bake. It means I don't enjoy it. And
Right,
first of all, I've never tried making a biscuit out of a can because I wouldn't. Okay. Second of all,
okay, look,
I made an Elsa cake that was like 10 layers.
Did.
Okay.
That
and
Elsa
also,
cake was
I've
pretty
made
amazing.
every single Easter.
Elsa cake. Okay.
Every single Easter, I make homemade desserts. I made that chocolate peppermint cake on Christmas.
But did you make the donut? I know all the amazing things that you.
No, I don't.
Exactly.
And I made a homemade
That's my point.
layered carrot cake that one year with little carrots on top.
I didn't say you can't make
I'll tell
stuff.
you what. No, you said you can't make. You literally did say I can't bake stuff. You said you can't make a biscuit out of a can.
I was talking about people in general.
I'm not people. Okay.
Not you, just people in general.
You were talking about me. Doesn't matter. For everyone listening, I can bake. I do not enjoy it as much as cooking.
You're an amazing cook altogether. Okay.
Altogether, you guys. This is a new word.
But you have not made
Maria,
a
have
donut.
you noticed how much he says the word altogether? We were at X, our internal company conference, and we came home, and I was like, I have to let you know.
Altogether.
You said all together a million times. However, Bree was there, and she always like catches on to the things that I do, and she said she did not notice it.
That's because I think when I say things,
I have special superhuman powers.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the donut.
Anyways, I'm just challenging you to make.
She makes it once a year. She was the girl. So then I thought,
is that good business sense?
I was like, I can't.
You get something that people love so much, and you're only going to do it once a year.
Well, first of all, we don't know how much time it takes. We don't know if the sales are worth it.
Like once a quarter. Come on.
They're busy all the time. They have a million people coming in. They got to prep everything else. Their kitchen's only so big. We don't know what they're set up for.
That's
like
true.
Donuts aren't easy.
That's true.
Well, we don't
Isn't
know.
Isn't it amazing? Like as business people, you look and criticize other business people.
Yeah, why are you
you're
doing
always
that?
Like, you're always like, well, if you did this, you'd be more successful.
I didn't
And
criticize.
you're like, what are you talking about?
I physically
like,
walked.
Our shop's always busy.
No, I literally physically walked to the location to tell her
We've never
she had
their
the best
coffee.
donut.
Have you
in
had
the
their
world.
coffee?
No, but I had tea today. So I walked by again today and I was like, I cannot believe I walked in yesterday to talk about their donuts and I didn't buy anything. So today I had a brown butter cookie.
But no coffee.
I got a tea.
Oh, you got the tea. Hot tea or cold tea?
It was really good cold tea.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
we got the cold pressed juice there the other day.
So
We were
good.
there. It's really
Everything's good. Project Coffee for the win.
It is a good little
I'm
place.
not kidding you. I said this is the best donut in the world. I literally had to talk about it on my podcast. She was like, oh my God, that's so nice.
I know. She's like, you know what? Traffic did increase by like 2 people yesterday.
For all those
maybe that
business
was
and
you.
belly laugh workers in town, thank you. Yeah.
Well, we do know a couple locals that could go there.
Yeah. That's about it. Yeah. No, it was.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah. I know. But we've had an interesting week/weekend here at Public Products. And I think we've gone back and forth. Well, you haven't. I have gone back and forth about whether or not this is even something to discuss on a podcast. And I think the reality is this podcast is meant to be a true inside look at our
It's
lives.
a representation of what we're going through.
Not only
on a
us,
weekly
but of
basis,
business, of
just
true business, the challenges that you face and what happens.
what we're doing, what's
Yeah.
going on, the good stuff, the bad stuff. You know.
So what happened?
So we basically had an event. We had our very first cocktails event, which is
For our Kalut brand.
For
Yeah.
Kalut brand. The
And it
idea
went really
was-
well.
And it was great. And, and the team that worked on it did a really great job. One, getting some sponsors, we had like 46 people that registered. We ended up having 25 that showed up. And that's not including us and the vendors, by the way. That's just the people. And I would say it was a success, but the person that put it on was sick in the office. And we asked them to stay home. Because
we said we didn't force them. We just said stay home, like get yourself better.
Like,
the event will be fine
Went home
without
early
you.
the day before,
and then took
everything else.
PTO the next day. Like was going to work from home. Is your throat
Exactly.
okay?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Do you need water?
Always. I've been talking nonstop today. Today's been a day that I've been
You need to
talking
bring
a lot.
water into the.
You know what? You brought water in last week, and then you left the water in here, and I almost knocked it over when we were doing the other podcast wall.
Oh, that's my fault. Okay.
Kinda,
Well,
sorta
I didn't leave it in
is.
here because we can pull up the footage. You took the water from me.
I did, but it still was your water.
No, I was no longer responsible for carrying
So it
out
became
of
my
the room.
water the moment I took a sip.
You not only took a sip, you moved it to your side of the
And
desk.
what happens if you took another sip? Does the ownership move back to you?
It would have, but I didn't.
Okay, just making sure I understand this, how that works. So basically,
You went to
we
the
did
event.
this event. It was really good.
The employee did not come to the event. They were sick.
They did not come to the
We were
event.
hoping they were recovering.
And so literally, I'm like, I'm talking to you, and I'm like, hey, I got this food. We're going to drop it off at the
Yeah,
office.
the leftover
because
food from the
There's a bunch of
event.
food. It was stuff that we could maybe throw in, heat up or whatever, and people could snack on it or whatever. And nothing that would go bad. It was like more like pretzel bread and stuff.
It was
And
not
so
great.
I get to
food.
the office and I'm putting the stuff in the fridge and I walk over to my desk to put something away or something. And it's hard to miss. And I'm in the dark, by the way. I did not turn the lights on. It's just like a very low, like monitor light, in the office. So I get over there and my desk is like shiny and there's like Amex, the
credit card, yeah.
business Amexes.
It's like bright silver.
It's like bright silver,
yeah.
heavy silver. And I'm like, what is this? And I look at it and it was the person's Amex. And I was like, and then I look on my chair and there's
Who wasn't in the office that day, so it's
who
very
wasn't
strange.
in the office
yeah.
that day. And then on my chair is a bag of dirty, smelly clothes.
They were dirty.
Yeah, they're clearly not cleaned. And they're in a bag. Like
Insult to injury.
bag.
Sorry, that was the first time I heard
And so then
that
I walk over to the
detail.
person's desk and it's empty.
And we do have cameras in our office, so
So
obviously
then,
we
yeah,
went
so
back.
then I'm like, what happened? What's going on here? And so I end up, slacking them, and I'm just like, hey, I'm
this
in
is
here.
the craziest
This
thing.
is the craziest, like dot. Like,
And like 7 hours
I have
later,
no
you got
idea.
confirmation
Then
of
7
a
hours
true
later it was, I resign.
effective immediately. I resign.
I resign.
Yes.
No notice, no
Yeah.
2-week notice, no
Now,
anything.
So first of all, to finish up that story of this individual, we've since heard there's potentially another job. That's what a couple of our employees have heard direct from the person. There's other discussion like it's so strange to not, if you had another job opportunity that you wouldn't, the message to you said, I was going to email in the morning,
Right.
but effective immediately, I resigned. And that was almost midnight. And so you're like, well, you cleared your desk at 5 p.m.
Yes,
when
we had to
you
go back
knew
to the camera
everyone,
footage.
you knew everyone was at this event and they wouldn't be in the office.
We see everyone leave, and within minutes.
Yeah, like as if the building was being staked out. So it was like very intentional for no
Very
one to be
intentional.
there.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it felt strange. And we as business owners have to look at the situation from a couple of different angles. One is like, what happened? Why did this person leave?
Well,
like
there's
you
always
care,
self-reflection.
Right. Like, you care a lot about your
did
employees.
I do something wrong? Obviously, I care about everyone. And I like I mean, I genuinely like everyone on our team.
Yeah.
So when someone leaves,
also,
it can hurt a little bit because it's always like a rejection for you or your company or whatever.
right.
And so I literally reflect. I mean, that's the very first thing I did was like, okay, what can I do better for myself, right? I think companies that experience large amounts of turnover definitely need to be looking at what they're doing, the environment that they have, what they're up to. This one was a little bit more, I felt like emotional because it was just like, there's very few, I've never in my entire career, right? I'm 48. So I've been, in the real world for 30 plus years. I have never had someone just walk out of a job.
No, and I said, not only have I never had anyone do that to me, I've never known anyone in an entire organization that I've ever worked at.
Not in a professional industry.
No, where I've seen that happen. And I even spoke to my parents and they were like, one was like, I've never seen that happen before in my entire history of working. And another one was like, I knew of someone, didn't see it happen, wasn't in the organization that they worked for, but like through a roommate, heard of it happening and literally remembered it to this day because it's like, who does that?
Right.
But you sit there and you're like, I hope everything's okay.
We were hoping everything was okay.
Yeah, is there like, you think health, you think family, you think all that, first and foremost, you just like want everyone to be okay. And then there's also the business aspect, right? Like,
right, because now you're scrambling because you have clients, you have
not
customers,
transitioned to a new employee, you haven't hired anyone to take place,
you haven't in the pipeline,
right? Like you don't know what conversations were happening, and you don't even have that employee to
and you're already planning other events, so you already have a pipeline of things and responsibility that are there. And so for a lot of businesses, like this is. It's not uncommon to lose people or have people move on. Like that's going to happen all the time. I feel like in the time when the economy is a little bit slower and stuff, like there's a little bit of protection for business owners because there's not a lot of opportunity out there. Mm-hmm. But I do think that it's our job to always make sure that we're providing the best atmosphere. Like our goal should always be retention in my mind.
Absolutely. And that's like what makes a great company is when there's one of the first corporate companies that I worked for when I came out of college here in town has employees to this day. First of all, I have nothing bad to say about the company. It's absolutely amazing. I left during a transitional period for the company. If I didn't leave, there was actually going to be two other people that left from the team on the Monday. They had to do layoffs. I had a job opportunity on the table and could save some people that I knew and loved and worked with and that were valuable and who are still with the company today. And so anyway, I mean, everything happens for a reason, but they have companies that work for them that have been there for 20, 30 years. Yeah. I mean, and it's not like just one or two people. It's like once you're in, you stay. Now, have they had turnover? Of course they have. Yeah. Like every company does. And so there is the moment for self-reflection. But I think that, it's important no matter what happens in your life. I was going to say, we talked about our own experience and then kind of like in our opinions, what's the right way, either as an employer, to have to let your employee go or as an individual to give notice that you're leaving. And I think that there's so many different ways of going about it and there's no right or wrong, but there's certainly better or worse, right?
No, I think there is right or wrong.
Yeah.
There's right or wrong.
Well, how about this? There's multiple right ways to go about doing it. There's not just like one. There's no book that says this is how you should do it.
Well, no, here's the thing. I think that this idea that you have to give like a 2-week notice, it's about open communication. Mm-hmm. And when you sit there, like I think we both have seen situations where one, you sit there and go, hey, I have this opportunity, I'm going to give a notice. And then the other person's like, but I'd like to leave earlier, or I'd like to just,
right. If I can,
And a lot of times people are like, yeah, you know what? And if there's a great relationship there, then
sometimes you go, on both sides. Right. Can you get your work done? Can you transition what you need to or introduce relationships in 4 days? Then that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's other times
when I left Neighborly, when I was leaving them, I gave them a 60-day notice.
Oh yeah. It was 60 days.
It was October.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to leave at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I had just gone through a big medical thing, and I wanted to recoup and just kind of reevaluate a lot of things, and I had the worry I was like, what if we had the conversation. We're like, well, what if they just say you can go?
Right.
And I was like, I think I'm valuable enough to stay. And they did. They kept me there to the very last day.
They did. But there is a risk there. And
There's
you're
a
like,
huge
but then
risk.
you weigh your kind of moral compass, I suppose. And you're like, okay, what do I feel the right thing is to do here?
I didn't want to participate in initiatives when I knew I was leaving.
Right. For new initiatives. And there were other things that needed, but and you know what? There are situations where either someone gives notice or a company decides to let somebody go. And I will say, in my experience, it's typically sales when you're managing a book of business that's generating revenue for the company. Often, especially if like maybe you're transitioning somewhere in the same industry, even if it's like competitive or something, or there might be a non-compete on the table, but a lot of times those things don't have legs, or you just get a different title until your non-compete's up, and then who knows what. But normally in sales, it's kind of like, hey, if you're the face of the brand and we know you're leaving, like there can be that transition of letting people know or softly giving it to someone else in the company. But also it's like, we don't really need you continuing to like go on office visits or go to trade shows or call people on the phone to try to get new business if you're not going to be the person that's going to support them.
Well,
so a lot of times they'll say in sales, you're out, because you can also download your
Yeah.
entire database and take the customers and
Exactly.
you know.
And, companies are buying collateral. They're buying things with your names on it, things with your pictures on it. All that stuff has to be thrown out. Like it cost us money, and not small amounts. We're probably out a good $1,000 in just collateral that we've ordered. That
definitely.
that we're planning to roll
Things
out.
that other people
'Cause
don't
we
think
planned
about
for the
in order-
whole
Yeah.
spring, and we had all
Yeah.
these trade shows lined up. We've got hotels booked. Now we canceled the Amex, so hopefully, but I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. But it is interesting. In my professional career, I've done 2 major transitions from like what I would consider important roles.
I would say 3.
Okay. I don't know what you're going to say. If you're going to be like when you stopped making sandwiches at Jimmy John's.
I was
Like if this
gonna
is like an
say-
opportunity for a dig, I definitely made sure the meat was sliced the day that I
so
left.
the thing is
no,
like-
what's crazy is that actually was a big conversation too. And here's why.
They offered you a job.
They wanted me to open a store.
To open a store.
They wanted
because
me to
they
manage
thought
and
you were
open a
awesome,
store.
And they saw your potential.
And that was an opportunity
so-
on the table when I got a professional
Yeah.
offer, and I took that one.
So we always joke because when Beck was at Jimmy John's in the building, I actually had the 5th floor of this building.
He was in the same office building, and he says that he remembers that I was a sandwich
and
girl.
she used to bring sandwiches, like little
Whatever.
teeny sandwiches to test. And I was like,
He didn't
I remember
actually
you.
know me, by the way. Like we didn't know each other.
We didn't know each other,
No.
but I just remember
He
seeing her.
claims
and
he
bringing
knows that I was the
sandwiches.
sandwich girl.
And I also remember seeing you at Moat Marine with the turtles.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a smile that's hard to ignore.
That's my point. I was like, wow, she's a beautiful smile, which is why I think later in life, when like we worked at the same company, it was just like, wow, like I feel like I know you.
Hey, that sandwich girl.
No, I feel like that's like a Seinfeld episode or something.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you saw these recent articles, not Seinfeld, Friends.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like that's a Friends episode. But I guess millennials are watching Seinfeld and Friends and saying it's the most offensive shows they've ever seen. Yes.
Friends?
Yes.
I guess I'd have to, if I went back and I looked at it through today's lens, I guess.
That's what they're saying.
But-
They're saying
and
today's
this is-
lens, it's just so crass.
Now we're
and-
getting kind of off topic, but that is the whole America's Next Top Model thing that's on Netflix right now, which is like, oh my God, we can't believe what you did to these models. And people like it was the most watched show. But Tyra Banks actually comes on and does the interviews, and like they face the music in my mind. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or well, actually, I can look at it today and say some of the things they did were just blatantly wrong. But they came on and said, too, it was just blatantly wrong. But what they also say is that was the modeling industry at the time.
Yeah.
Like just because we said we were going to film it doesn't mean that wasn't happening everywhere else.
Exactly.
And so it's just, and what was like okay and funny and isn't today, like, yeah, no one can say anything these days without it being offensive, which
Seriously.
is unfortunate. It like ruins
It's very
humor.
unfortunate that people have to really.
I'm not saying
fight.
anyone needs to be like disrespectful by any means, but you can find humor in things that you're like, okay, I wouldn't want that to happen to me, but I can laugh about it.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Like the things that have happened in the past, you cannot judge and sit there because it was acceptable at the time. And not that it was bad at the time, we just didn't get it. It's just that people, I guess we're constantly changing and evolving as people. And I think in a lot of cases for the worse. I mean, there's the wokeness of certain things. I think it's making people weaker. If I sit there and I go, wow, that's a frumpy shirt, right? Like you should be able to sit there and be like, hey, he thinks that shirt's frumpy. Like not this personal attack. Like, oh my gosh, you can't say that to me or whatever. Like this
I would just be like, for someone with your hair today, I'm surprised you've got any negative comment to make about someone else.
So it's like this whole thing of, do you remember the sticks and stones can break my bones,
but words will never hurt me.
Like this idea of being tough and like being able to let these things go.
Well, so interesting you're saying this because said employee who's no longer with us had a very tough exterior, bubbly personality, open book policy with personal, aspects of their life. And I think that a lot of people these days have that facade or persona, and a lot of it's real. But then there's this other element of vulnerability and emotion and hurt and, and expectation. And I think that a lot of times that doesn't come out, or maybe you're not as open about that aspect. And I think that you're talking about times changing, and part of me too, with this happening at our company and all of us going, we've never really experienced anything like that before, is like, is there something that's changing about what people think that they owe to a company, or that, like the respect doesn't exist in parenting these days. The respect doesn't exist it depends on the parent and the kid and whatever else, but like to a teacher, to a boss, to a parent, like I think that like this mentality of expectations and
what do you
disrespect.
And it's interesting because as someone who's built the company up, I actually feel like I owe a lot to our team members. Like, I mean, well,
absolutely.
You know what I'll do to make sure that we grow and hit our goals and bring people on.
If only and people knew.
And the reality is that I think that's probably the only reason why it hurts me is because there's a lot of sacrifice that goes on.
Tons of sacrifice.
And
personal
and I think
sacrifice.
A lot of companies are that way, right? Like if you value your team, whether you're not hiring people or doing this or doing that, like
you might feel entitled that the owner of your company posted something on social media that you don't politically agree with, which has happened in a previous company for me.
Before.
But all of a sudden, it's like you feel that way, but they just put $1 million into the company last week to save your job because they thought you were so important and didn't want to have to let anyone go. So you're worried about their opinion, but they're actually a really good person that cares a lot about their people. They took out of their own bank account because they believe in this.
People aren't going to talk about that,
no.
right? Like they're not. And
but the owners don't feel it necessary to say, excuse me, let me raise my hand and let you know what I'm doing before I did it, because that you own a company. Like it's partially about the people, partially about the vision and the company and keeping it alive. The people are who makes that happen. Right. And so, but it is interesting, just this concept of you obviously it doesn't matter what we as entrepreneurs, give to the employees. There's going to be people who are amazing, and there's going to be people that don't feel that they owe us anything. And to be honest, they don't.
No.
And so at the end of the day, once we get over the surprise, right, it kind of allows for you to look inward at the business and make changes, right? Like you wouldn't have made the change yourself.
Well, that's the thing is that I don't think that I would have made the change to Kaloop that I'm about to make right now if this hadn't happened.
I know you wouldn't have.
It made me I was already kind of talking about, are we hitting the right people, the right mix? And I already talked about dialing
we had
back to
really
trade
hard
shows.
workers, but not a lot of closing and converting of leads.
We weren't converting. And so I knew that change had to happen.
Yes.
And what this has made me do is really step back. And I've literally been working through like, okay, how do we pivot this? How do we go after? And really what I found in the research is I've kind of gone back to where we started, where my intuition was, with going after the CAMs and focusing on them as a people in the marketplace. But because we had one on staff, I went after the board members to try to get them in
we changed.
with our CAM. And I don't think we had the right person there.
Right.
So
and that's
otherwise
okay.
we have the sales, right? And so now I'm sitting here going, this is going to be, I do believe it'll be highly beneficial for us.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be able to get back to where I was.
Yeah.
And, I think the right person to bring on is more of a support person, younger, energetic,
hungry,
tech savvy,
Yeah.
that can walk people through, bubbly on the phone. And that person there will have way more value to the ecosystem that we're trying to capture altogether. So you're right. Like altogether, it is a great.
No, but it forces you.
For
sometimes
us.
You wouldn't make changes in business, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you were failing by not making the decisions. But once things happen that force you to re-strategize or look at what was going on, and I feel like I can look at previous companies when people chose to leave. They gave notice, but chose to leave, and they decided to exit the company. Oftentimes, the company would always go, "We're better off. We're better off." And I actually, even as an executive, felt, I guess, emotional about the fact that I'm like, we're not better off. That was a really strong employee. That was a really smart person. That was a
we've
really
watched some
good,
really great people leave.
But I can look back now today as a business owner and go, anyone who was looking, you know what I mean? Like they might have been the most amazing, strong, skillful employee. But anyone who was looking or found something else or took the option to like have a conversation with a recruiter, it's like that's good for them. But if their one foot was already out the door, or they were willing to have the conversations, or they were interested, or finances made all the difference.
I tell the team here all the time,
then it's like,
though,
good for you.
I want them, like, obviously I don't want anyone to leave, but like,
no,
if they do and they find something bigger, better, unfortunately, and I even told my own daughter this, like, the way that you grow is literally by moving position to position, unfortunately.
Well, you can either grow within a company, take on additional responsibilities, continue to grow as the company grows. And again, like there's companies that exist, like the one that I first worked at, where you can work there for 20 or 30 years and it makes sense because you've continued to challenge yourself because the company is continuing to acquire different businesses and challenge you with new things and build new tech and introduce new products. And like that keeps a job exciting and continues to allow you to like have modern day marketing techniques or sales or use tools. Like if they can afford tools that give you skill sets that you're able to use, then these are things that are beneficial, right? Working for a company and staying there. And so it depends. But it has been interesting. And one of the other things is like this person left no notice, which was surprising. But also I looked at it and I was like, we would never be a reference because if someone called us, we would be honest about the employment and how the exit happened. Because from employer to employer,
for reference recently.
Yes, and so I was like,
and they didn't say thank you after I told them I had done it.
So it got me to thinking. Yeah. How many companies are actually looking at references these days? And if they are, how many people are checking the validity of those references? Like, because a lot of people are just like, hey, you're a family friend removed.
Yeah. I think it depends on the life cycle of the company, whether or not it was a referral from a trusted person.
Right,
I think that goes a long way.
Yes.
Because I feel like that becomes the reference. I think I know the last hires that we did, I did check because I was like, hey, this is a key position for the company. Right. Like we need to, I want to follow up, right, and find out what's the scoop.
Well, absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, the reference I got, I would not say that they were overly positive or overly negative. I think they were kind of in the middle. And what the people shared with me have turned out to be the reality. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily good or bad, just like my expectations were set. Yeah. And I accepted those expectations.
And made the decision.
It's worked out to the degree that I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but it is interesting to me because sometimes people, like the person who just asked you was like family far removed, but like it's someone you've worked with way in the past that you wouldn't necessarily be like, yeah, you
I
were
wasn't
back.
like the immediate reviewer,
No, and you wouldn't.
but I was
also-
accessible.
Yeah, but it's just interesting because it's like my comment to you was, wow, after all these years, does this person really not have anyone else they can put down as a professional
Right.
reference? But I do sit there and I'm like, how many people these days, is it an age thing? Is it generational? Like who's burning bridges? Because one of the other things that we've seen as we've gone to hire is a lot of jumping around, like people
If
going
you're at
from
a job for
job to
less than
job.
a year, I don't even look at you. If your last couple jobs were a year, I'm like, this person's going to leave in a year. Like
But also what's crazy is that like I
a
remember
year goes by so fast.
I remember looking at resumes when I was very first, hiring my team 2 companies ago. And I was like, oh, this person's been at a company for 5 years. And it was like, well, maybe them leave after 5. Because at the time, I mean, my longevity at my companies has been like 7, 8 years, and
Yeah.
then I was working at a company where people there for 10, 15, 20. And so it's like now you do not see that. And now I feel like if you see someone that was at a company for 5 years, you're like, wow, they gave that company 5 years. Like it's big. And you're
Yeah.
like, it doesn't feel big.
No,
Because time
but
goes
you're
by
right.
quick.
I mean, I think that's the number one thing I look at is length at the number of the companies that they've been at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Which this particular individual actually had hopped around like job after job, like
and you know what? And
over
again,
the
it
years.
goes back to the fact that, there's one person in here that's seen me go through the interview process for everyone.
I know,
And that's
it's-
Maria. Maria's like the historical, like she
Yes.
was employee number 1 here in
Yes.
the office. And I mean, she has seen the gamut of people coming in.
oh my
And
God, she saw a tattoo face guy.
I don't know if she saw him.
Oh,
He came
okay.
after hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I'm always
Never
the
heard
one
from Tattoo
worried.
Face Guy again.
I'm always the one worried you're gonna get murdered.
The
after
only
hours.
the only guy that ever made me uncomfortable was the guy that was a good
The grill.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Was a foot and a half taller than me, and I was like, this guy could seriously hurt me because of his size and weight. Like I
Mm-hmm.
would totally get him at the end.
You always
I'd
tell
rip
me.
his eyes out.
Yeah, you always tell me if
trust me, you
someone's
don't wanna
coming
fight
after me, you're
I'm
gonna
rip
their-
your eyes out.
By the way, I just don't think I could. I couldn't do it.
Rip someone's eyes out?
Yeah.
You need to if you want to stay alive.
No, I hear you. I mean, I hope I'm never in that situation.
Okay, if someone
We
was
went
coming,
from interviewing
let
to
me ask
talking
you
about
this.
ripping
Let me ask you
someone's
this.
eyes out.
Let me
It's
ask you
kind of
this.
intense.
If someone was taking your little girl, could you rip their eyes out?
Yes.
There we go. There we go. Done. You have it in you.
Oh yeah.
I said this the other day to you.
But that will never happen either.
I
No
looked
one's
at
ever
you and I
touching
said
my
something
little
like,
girl.
I go, you want me. What did I say? I said, you want me to be a warrior. You want me to be
Able to protect the family.
like,
And I was like, well, I don't want you to protect the family to the extent where like
We'd
you're
go to
in
jail.
jail one day and then I
Yeah.
spend the rest of my life raising,
I think I had something to do with like, I have the ability to be violent. And it is a controlled violence at all times. And if you go back,
But you're
I
saying
was in
that you
military
sound
college.
so intense and it's not, you're like the nicest, most lovable teddy bear.
I'm not saying wife beater. I'm saying
No,
I'm
no
saying,
one was thinking that. My
I know.
God.
Well, when people talk about violence, they're thinking domestic violence. I'm
they're
talking
not.
about. I was in military college and in the Army, and I will tell you, I literally sat in front of my platoon. I was platoon leader at the time, and I had a scout platoon, and we did this knife exercise where we were going to do self defense, and these guys were like, "Well, why do we need to do this?" I go, do you guys just think you're gonna have guns all the time? It's like, you need to, and I punched this kid and I put him on the ground and and then all of a sudden he realized this shit was real. And we ended up over about a week period of time.
Okay, that
wrestling.
would not happen today at the
It
university.
needs to happen. It wasn't, we were in the Army. This was not university.
Okay.
In university, I feel like we did worse things, but like the actual
my
thing is
God,
like
so
you are
intense.
fighting for your life.
I have never gotten in a physical altercation in my entire life.
So we grew up, my uncle has
Maybe
has
with my
passed away,
sister.
but when we were growing up, he taught us karate, and it was American Shurei-ryu was the
What?
American Shurei-ryu is the style of karate. American Shurei-ryu.
no, literally, you sound like you're speaking pepper. Like
America Shurei-ryu.
Shrew-a-roo.
That's Scooby-Doo.
Scooby. No, literally, what is it called?
American Shrew. So we did this, and so my uncle had like 4 of us on my street, and we would get taught every week, and we would go there, and we went to our first
childhood
tournament.
is so concerning.
We went to our first tournament, and we were all white belts, and we've been white belts for like a couple of years, like never got promoted, and we kicked the shit out of everybody, and it's because my uncle didn't really have like
It's
the
because
whole
of
yellow
Shrew-a-roo?
belt, American Shrew. And so, but one of the things is like you never start a fight. You just are there to defend. And we learned that from a young age. Me and my brother, I mean, we're warriors. Like, I mean, we will go to town on you. And I am not intimidated by someone that's bigger.
I don't even know why this conversation is happening right now, because we were talking about a large man who came in for an interview, who, by the way, was probably just disappointed he didn't get the job.
He kind of looked like the biker. You know Ocean's 11?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know when he's in the back room and he's being fake beat up by the biker?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's the guy that walked in.
Okay.
Like, that guy's huge.
Was she here?
I don't think so.
Oh, you save all the mass murderers for after hours?
No, seriously. Part of it was like I didn't want like the mass murderers here when Maria was here.
Maria, yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
It was crazy.
That is crazy.
But anyways,
Thank goodness for sure.
I will stop on the warrior piece then.
Yeah, you're not violent.
Well, here's the thing: is like the reality is that there is an intensity when you're running a business or doing anything else. Now, I parlay that warrior instinct into business. I think. Why are you laughing?
Yes. It just sounds a little aggressive.
But I am aggressive. Like I have the ability. I'm. It's like controlled. Like I'm like the Hulk, but I'm just Bruce Banner most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, just Bruce Banner.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then when something triggers me, I'm like, rawr,
yeah.
know? I mean, I always tell you that. Like sometimes you'll get me angry. I'm like, don't. What do I say? Don't unleash the bear or don't unlock the bear. I'm like, poke the bear. I go, because she'll do something like, baby, don't poke the bear. Like, don't make me get upset. Like, don't poke the bear, please.
Well, we're hilarious because usually what happens is.
Oh, yeah. Like, we have our routine down into like a perfect circle.
It's every
predictable.
time. So I get upset and I harp.
And
I am
the Zen master. I am so calm.
You're calm.
I'm so
You're
Zen.
calm.
And
You
I'm
tell
just
me
like,
not to
and I'm
poke
like
the
this
bear.
in almost every aspect of my life. I'm very calm. I'm very Zen.
And then I'm like, it
and
sounds
then you
like
do it.
you
And then I'm
ask
like,
me
and
not.
then I stop and I go, please do not poke the bear.
Yeah.
Do not poke the bear.
And I'm like, that sounds like a challenge. And so
you keep poking the bear.
I poke.
Then the bear comes out.
And the minute that you get upset, I'm like, oh no. And then I'm like, why are you
upset?
Why are you so upset?
And I'm like, you know why I'm upset.
I'm
you
like,
poked the bear.
I'm like, are you okay? This is so crazy that you're upset right now.
So then I get upset and walk away. And then you're like, oh, everything's okay.
Yeah, no, we're good now. Everyone's happy.
Because once I get upset, then it's like the game's over.
Yeah.
And it takes me a while to get upset.
Yeah. And then it takes you a while to get unupset.
Oh, and then it takes me a long time. It takes me, there's like a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it takes me 1 minute to get
think I would
upset,
learn.
it takes me 3 minutes to get unupset.
Yeah, except it's not minutes we're talking
Because
here.
once the bear's out, you can't put the bear back. You can't put the bear back.
But good thing the bear just walks away to be in solitude.
No, the bear
in
goes
his
and
cave.
cleans. I told the officer the other day, I go,
Well, that is the thing. When he
clean.
gets pissed, he cleans. And sometimes if the garage is dirty, it's like,
I go,
poke.
Beck literally pokes the bear to clean the garage.
no, I don't, but
It's a good
it's a benefit.
it's a benefit
Yeah.
of things that
But
happen.
never intentional.
I don't think it's intentional.
No.
Yeah, totally it's intentional.
No, it's not.
By the way, the garage is exceptionally clean right
Yeah,
now.
it looks great. Well,
Yeah.
exceptionally.
I just put away the Christmas bins.
No, I know. We can't even talk about it. So hold on. There's other things on here. My green pasta we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. And it came from.
I would have to say that, and I asked the team this. I was like, "Hey, have you had green pasta?" And then one of them was like, "You mean what's the stuff with the nuts in it?
Pesto.
Pesto. I said, no, not pesto. It's more like a green sauce. But anyways, I will have to tell you that in a small quantity, it's the best probably I've ever had. Like it ranks up there.
Yeah, thank
you. But it's a different league than red pasta, right?
Yeah,
and I would definitely put like it would be like a small amount of the green pasta, then a lot of options of red, and then some more green, and then like some like a red
anyway,
Alfredo.
It was like kale and broccoli and spinach with a little bit of like cream. But you like blitz it all together and make like a cream sauce. But the cream is like probably 1/10 of the sauce.
It's delicious.
Anyway, so I made it, but it was very green. So everyone's like, that's a perfect St. Patty's Day meal. But I got the recipe because I do a cookbook book club, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm in a regular book club where I read.
You're in two book clubs. I get them confused.
Yeah, but the cookbook book club
is
when you pick a book. I think I've talked about this before. You cook a dish from the book, and then everyone shows up with a dish, which is actually amazing because I can't even tell you how many cookbooks I have that I've
It's like going to a buffet.
It is, but also like I have cookbooks that I would make one recipe out
At
of.
church,
If
we used to have
that,
buffets.
they're just like pretty to look at.
What are they called? Are they called buffets?
You're
What's it
interrupting
called?
me.
What's it called?
A potluck.
A potluck.
Yeah.
It's like a potluck.
It is, but you get to try all these different recipes that you would normally never even make. Like this particular recipe did not have a picture in the book, wasn't something that sounded like it was going to be any good. But we had like 20 recipes at this cookbook book club, and everyone was like, "That one was amazing." And it's the first time I've ever come home and cooked after cookbook book club.
One of the meals that someone cooked.
Because I was like, okay, that was that good, and we can have it in the house. Really, I was trying to make pasta so Abigail could try some like greens, but you were like, she doesn't need to eat grains. This man, I have made homemade purees for our daughter my entire life, and he's like, I bought a box of mac and cheese the other day because I was like, she's a kid. At some point, she's got to try it.
No.
And he was like, she doesn't need that. She's
It's
eaten
pasta.
so
there's no
great
nutritional
her
value.
entire life.
And if you read the book Brain Grain or Grain Brain, it talks about the
I don't know when you
negative-
read that book because you're not practicing it yourself.
Look, I'm looking after the younger generation.
Okay.
I don't eat a lot of bread. And the only reason I eat pasta is because you make the pasta.
I love pasta.
I love pasta.
But I will tell you,
love butter pasta.
the way that Italians make pasta is different.
I will tell you, when we take that olive tapenade and then mix it in with the pasta, it's like one of my favorite, easiest pasta dishes.
That's a you thing.
I know. I just said it's one of my favorite
With
pasta
capers.
dishes. Throw some capers. Love them.
Oh, well, with that disgusting noise, we'll leave
I
you.
know. We're going to Tommy Bahamas for dinner tonight. My mom on the phone this morning, she was like showing the birds. We FaceTime every Wednesday morning with Abigail, and so she can meet her grandma and stuff. And she's like, "Let me show you the birds."
She's met
and
her grandma.
and they're going
She's
in and they're
seen
grabbing
her.
the peanuts and everything else. And I was intrigued. I was like, I feel like I'm on like National Safari right now. It was kind of cool.
That is cool.
And she also gave us a tour of her entire garden.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The other day,
I said, Mom, Abigail don't care about
Potato.
plants. This is my pineapple plant. It's like and
which,
Abigail,
by the way, it is impressive. I can't keep anything alive, and your mom definitely has a green thumb. But
Yeah.
we were at the park the other day, and Abigail like pointed up at the sky. She was like, "Ah!" And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What is she looking at in the sky?" And like, literally, she wouldn't stop. And I was like, "Oh my God, there's a crow up there." Did I already tell this story?
No.
Anyway, this crow was like, "Ah!" And she was like pointing at it and all about the bird. I was like, "Okay, girl."
Well, you didn't even talk about the bald eagle that almost landed on you.
No, that was insane. So yesterday I'm walking. Literally, I'm going across a crosswalk on a main street in downtown Sarasota.
Yeah.
And I hit the button. I walk like 3 feet out with Abigail. And this bald eagle, and when I tell you it was huge, I mean, it was huge, was maybe
People don't realize how big
maybe
those birds
2
are.
or 3 feet in front of me. Dive bombs. I mean, I stopped in my tracks. I was like, "Ah!" And like everyone's heads were like out their car
Their
because
talons
they're like
are so beautiful too.
they were like, oh my God, this bald eagle just like flew
Landed
in front
in
of
it.
and everyone stopped because
Downtown?
it's a red light. Yeah, downtown.
It's insane. Downtown Sarasota, bald eagle landed.
No, literally.
Did you
So
take a
he
picture?
did I take a picture? I was being attacked by a giant bird with my
Pterodactyl.
child. And so I was like, in the eagle was holding like a bass. Like it was a huge fish. And he stopped for a second.
How
then
close were you to the bay?
I was on Ringling and Osprey.
That's pretty far.
So he was being chased by a seagull.
What?
I already told you this. Did you not listen on our phone call yesterday? He doesn't listen to me. No, he does not listen to me when I call him. He was being chased by a seagull, so the seagull came after him, and then he like flew to get away.
I knew there was another bird. I didn't realize it was a seagull.
A seagull was chasing a bald eagle with a bass. Now I think
first of all, it's not a bass, just so you know, because a bass is freshwater, and
could have come from Payne Park.
Could
have come from Payne Park.
Ooh, you're right. It probably could have. It's possible. Highly unlikely.
There could be koi fish in the bank pond.
You're right. Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
Salvaged your bass.
Big ass fish. Okay.
Did it have a black line on it?
Look, and it was not paying attention to the fish. All I know is there was a huge fish and a huge bird. And then I just kept walking, and then everyone's heads were like out the window, and they just kept dive bombing each other. And then finally the eagle like flew off, but the seagull didn't give up.
I think the eagle stole had the fish.
The eagle had the fish, but I think he stole it from the seagull.
No, because you know how like seagulls follow you?
Yeah. Just like if you get something, they're like, thanks for the hard work.
You throw one thing away,
they're
following
though. That's ballsy. You're like, hey, bird, that's literally 10 times my size. I'll take that.
Well, I had all kinds of great notes about new product, new podcast, the Moonlight or Die.
Well, we're way over time.
We're just over time. So I'm going to save it all for next week, I think. Did you hear that? I thought that was Maria for a second. But I think it was someone else.
There was a horn outside that just ended our podcast. Literally, he was like, "Okay, and bye." And outside, it was like,
just like she done. I was like, she got a new
sounded like a basketball
and the
buzzer.
podcast button. By the way, we've been hitting the bell a lot in the office lately.
Okay, nice. Okay, bye guys.
See ya.